Hello and welcome back to Timberborn. Start the day. All our beavers are heading out, ready to work. Have a few ideas of things I'd like to get going today. First off, we're gonna pause the gear workshop and get the plank mill going again. So hopefully the beaver that was in there just swaps job. Let's just go like that. So they do, because I would like to get some of the fun things going for the beavers. So I've got the stairs, put them on high priority, so that we can get the rooftop terrace going and get one roof in, just so that all beavers, as they go into work each day, they have to go underneath it and just have a bit of fun, as well as having the campfire, just so there's a bit more going on for them. Also, would like them to get the potatoes going, just so that the farms, we have plenty of food going. But unfortunately, I think at the moment, looking at it, we've got 8 jobs that are currently needing positions filled, a bit like the research. We've only got like 2 builders. There's just we just need a few more beavers, but we also want the food to be stable and the water also to be stable before we can really have the builders. So what we are going to do is, I've looked into it, thought about it. We have enough to be able to get this next house going. And once we've got those stairs going, we'll have a way up to this area here. And I believe might be able to fit a few in here. So I can fit one house in there, one, two there, and another one in there. And then we can just do path from those stairs along. We'll mark a few of these trees for demolition or to be pulled up, just so we can get around, and we're going to keep them nice and close to the cliff with the path. Probably not the smartest thing to do, having beavers next to a cliff, but for now I think they'll be alright. They don't tend to jump off very many things for fun activities like that, and that should hopefully get us a few more housing, or quite a lot of housing. We'll pause the construction of the last 2, because these first 2, that should give us 6 more housing spots for 6 more beavers, and then we're going to also, as the stairs have now been built, up the priority of removing these trees, just so that they can get put in nice and quickly. We are going to keep the flanker going. I do need at some point gears to then build this next water storage, but for now we want to just keep the planks going, so that we can eventually just turn them all into gears when we're ready, because at the moment we need at least 12 more planks, which we do have if we didn't use planks for anything else, but just better to have a little bit of a stockpile whilst we're waiting. Next thing, obviously, getting farms going. That'll happen when we get more beavers. Just going to make sure that water is still on a high priority, and so is this farmhouse. And like, I kind of want to keep these 2 also high priority, just so we always have a nice steady set of logs so we can do building. And then you're sitting around doing nothing, so we're just going to pause you. You can have a different job. I don't know where you're going to go, but you'll do something, and I'm sure it'll help the colony more than just sitting around doing nothing. Our roof is now in, so hopefully our beavers will start becoming even happier. And then the next sort of thing I want to do is get across to these iron ruins. I think plan will probably be stairs down here, nice straight path wiggling this way. So I might start planning that out a little bit. So let's get some stairs. I think we'll just put them in here, and then we can probably, hopefully, just do pretty straight path there and then around. The one thing I haven't really fully decided yet is where I want to have I'm going to call it my industrial zone, because I feel like Actually, no, we'll leave them low priority for now. Because I do feel we want an area which is just going to be for industrial stuff. Now we have a big area here, which is close to our metalwork, but it's a long way from our main source of wood at the moment, which will change as the sort of season progresses, because I will be building more farms and like wood air farms, I'm sure. For now, I think that is probably a good place to build it, even though I have kind of started a bit of one here. So I need to think about that a little bit more before I commit or decide on too much. But as it's the night, we'll fast forward and we will start planning out for the next day. For the night, one of the other things I would like to get sort of more underway, more work done, is mainly increasing our beavers' sort of overall well-being and happiness. So obviously, quite a few of them went to the rooftop terrace last night. Maybe two didn't. Um, Only one of them's beavers is thirsty at the moment. That's pretty good. Wet fur is something I feel like will be quite easy to fix. Um, and then hopefully things like where are they? Grilled potatoes, they should be starting working on once the farm comes. But then there's like the aesthetic things like shrubs, lanterns, scarecrows. They are relatively, I'm going to say, cheap on the resources they need. Okay, maybe not the scarecrow, that costs paper. I haven't got to that point yet. But the lantern, 2 woods, 4 or planks, that's not too bad. Shrubs, just using logs. Like the bench and the hammock, they don't help the colony much, but the shrubbery and the lantern do. And I can afford to unlock the shrubbery. So I will get a shrubbery and I'm going to put it sort of, I think, along this area here, maybe on the other side, just as somewhere most beavers go past. Actually, maybe by the stairs. Put one there, and I think I do want another one sort of down in this area somewhere. Maybe I feel like not many beavers go past that bit, but they do go past areas to get water, so maybe next to this water tank, just as areas where a lot of the beavers go past the shrubbery. And then the lantern, we're going to need to save up more or get more research going, because at the moment I can't afford to even unlock it. So hopefully when we get more of these houses built, we'll be able to then also get a few more like beavers going, more jobs. So as we do currently have the logs to complete that, we're going to just high prioritize these 2 houses and get the beaver population up a little bit more. And then I think the only other thing that is probably high prioritized is this warehouse, which again, I think the beavers, there's plenty of sort of wood. Well, they don't actually need it, just need someone to hit it with a hammer, which is a good starting point. So I think we're just going to go through and maybe get this down to only have one worker in it and slightly up the priority of that farmhouse. Maybe I think we'll keep the carrots as they are because that is still our main food source. I'm going to see where else beavers aren't working. This one, not replanting trees, that's fine. I think I'm probably going to end up pulling up a lot of these trees anyway. This beaver is working, chopping down these trees primarily. Whereas this beaver at work at the moment, he is in the house, I believe, because he doesn't seem to be anywhere else. So that's probably fine because that's just wood and again getting this area cleared. This beaver is still working away, or this one is for chopping down these trees and then replanting. I'm happy with those two keeping doing that. This berry post can stay paused as we are full on berries at the moment. So I think most of our jobs are needed to be jobs. Potentially the planks and sort of the winding wheel could maybe go down. for building, keep 2 until this house is built, and then I might lower it down to 1. Uh, yeah, I think finally got some potatoes starting to grow. That's a good starting point. And as that just needs hitting with a hammer, we'll high prioritize that just so it's finished and I don't have to worry about it anymore. And these stairs, I assume I left them, yeah, neutral priority. They should not take too long to be finished because I do have all the resources for it. But I just need someone to head over to go and finish it off. So yeah, we're just gonna let a few things get built, and if something interesting happens whilst we're waiting for houses to be finished, I will rejoin you. House number 1 has been built, and we have 1 beaver aged 18 in there. But we're just gonna keep letting them finish off everything else. And that is our second house completed and built. And I suppose the grilled potato stand has also been finished. Stairs have not yet started. I think they may be about to go and, well, maybe not. They're just getting ready for grilling potatoes. Which, as I don't really have any potatoes at the moment, they're going to take a little while to grow. Don't know how much of a job that is needed, but a few of our beavers have been growing up, and they are actually starting on these stairs. Got the log in, someone's bringing over, I'm assuming, all 4 of the planks, so that just needs hitting with a hammer to be underway. And as we currently don't have anything else that needs planks to be built at the moment, we're going to pause the planks and resume the gear workshop to really get this water tank built. Our shrubbery has been, both of our shrubberies have been built, so hopefully we've now got 8, so we've got almost all of our beavers have walked past it and are happy to see it. So we're gonna maybe try and get a few more beavers. I think the only work job that isn't actually on pause and is going is this second researcher. So we can now start saving up science to unlock a few more exciting things. We have officially hit happiness 9, so overall it's still saying average of 8, but I suppose we've got +1 for hunger, thirst, sleep and shelter. Everyone's in a bed, everyone's had some carrots, campfire and rooftop terrace, everyone has visited, shrubberies, everyone's been and admired, and the roof, all but 1 beaver have seen and admired the roof, which is giving us some nice points. Yeah, so we are going to keep working at getting a few more of those things going, but things are progressing and our beavers are becoming more and more happy. All of our beavers have sadly just died of old age, so a few of our jobs have just disappeared. I don't know which jobs, but because of the priority listing, I think shouldn't be too many. But we do have 5 baby beavers running around, so they shouldn't be too worried, or I'm not too worried about the colony not having enough workers because they'll grow up. I am going to unpause this one house because we do have 80 logs and that takes 20, so that should be fine or plenty. Just build the house and then we'll be able to slowly get even more beavers going. We do still have a few spare empty beds which will hopefully eventually get filled. We've got 14 empty beds, but food seems slightly lower than maybe I'd like. So, but soon when the potatoes come in, which should happen in this next day, the grill will start going, and 1 potato on 1 log turns into 4 grilled potatoes, which is pretty good. I don't know quite how you get 4 potatoes out of 1, unless they chop them up and turn them into roasties. So a couple of things have happened. Our third big house has been built and finished. Our big water storage only needs 1 gear left, so hopefully once this one gets finished, it's about halfway there, it'll be built. And a lot of our oak trees have finished growing. Because they hold 8 logs, that's a good amount of wood, and our wood storage it isn't full, but it's definitely getting up there. Um, and I did move one extra beaver onto potatoes just for harvesting season, and they're like harvest one and then sort of replant it, and it means our grilled potatoes are going up, and beavers are eating grilled potatoes, which is, I think, pretty good. It just means we've got a bit more food source going, and it makes our beavers even happier. Throughout the day, the water storage has been built. So at the moment, we now have a drought approaching that is not so fun. So we will really want to have our water storage filled up. This beaver is complaining that there's nothing to do in range, so pause him, probably because I've not selected these trees to be built. I think probably because I have now got the 8 logs here, where we will be alright for wood for a little while, so I may end up getting rid of our sort of lumberjack and our forester over here. But for now, the main thing I do want is just more science. And I was just about to up priority, but because we've got enough beavers, we now have all the jobs that aren't currently just paused going ahead and working for us. So that is, I think, pretty good. So we'll just stock up on water, maybe try and stock up on food, or keep this, like all our food storages, relatively full until the drought hits, so we have some left over as emergency backup food. So as the sun rises this morning, the drought will start. I think most of the things we've got going are pretty good to last us the drought, depending on how long it is. It's 4 days, that's not too bad. We've got 100 water in our medium tank, and then we've also got our 3 small tanks still full of water. Got plenty of berries on the bushes. We've still got, like, not very many carrots in the carrot storage, but we also have quite a few grilled potatoes in our grilled potato storage. So even if the water goes down here, we still have our dam in place, which will and does hold back a good amount of the water. So I am going to keep the water pumpers pumping. If I notice it gets sort of super low, I will pause them just so that the land around stays green. I think mainly we are just wanting to keep our sort of our science going up, because for metal work, we need 250 to unlock the scavenger flag, and then we also then need a further 300 to smelt it to then be able to turn it into fun things, and maybe not so much on the paper side of things, but a lot of, I'm going to say, the fun stuff later on does need metal sort of planks, so the sooner I can get them going, the better. So for now, we're just going to keep our scientists going, let them all survive on what water and what food we've got. The population is growing. We do have a few people dying of old age, but we seem to replace them with births pretty quick, and we have plenty of spaces. We have like an entirely empty house there. A few of these are also on the lower side, so yeah, we're in a pretty stable position at the moment. We just need a minimum of 250 science to then be able to start getting our metal scraps from here. Then we'll probably build stairs up to grab this lot before, and then eventually going for the underground ruins all the way over here. And I think I've decided that this area here is going to be my industrial area, so I might start moving a few things over or making a plan of where I want things in that area. For now, I'm just going to let them all survive. Probably pause the gear workshop and unpause the planker because their planks are running low. and we're not needing gears for anything at this moment in time. As our log storage is not full, but it's getting just got a whole load of more scientists on the go. So we also do have are starting to get more and more beavers that are like, what do I do as our population grows? So let's get them doing the science stuff, and then we'll just delete those science workshops as and when we need them. A bit like how I'm going to delete the forester and the lumberjack flag, as I do not feel like I really need them at the moment or at all. So yeah, got one more. Hopefully a beaver's gone in there to start working. I think I've currently got 3 beavers as well, so I might be able to reduce the number of worker beavers to get these up, and making me even more science even quicker, especially throughout the drought when we're not doing a whole load of building or anything at the moment. So we had a whole load more births. Have paused this house because we still have spaces in the others, so there's no point in having a whole load of extra sort of beavers going. And we now have 3 more researchers to make a total of 5. So every in-game hour we get 5 science, which means it is starting, I'm going to say, to slowly fly up. So whilst it's not unnecessary, we are going to actually do a few sort of well-being things for my beavers. So I'm going to put in, I think, 2 showers here, just so that we can start getting that wet fur bonus. And was actually maybe down here would have been a better place for them. This was going to put the swimming pool here, but that's fine. We are also going to get a contemplation. I don't even know what this is. A nice relaxing spot for them. We're going to put a few around just so that we've got plenty, and I think I can't really afford any of the other things at the moment. Medical bed, I can't even afford, but when I can, I will get a medical bed just in case I ever get an injured beaver. Hopefully I won't, because I don't really want my beavers to be injured very often, if at all. But I think it'll be a good thing to have as a sort of just in case. And all of these things they cost a bit, like in terms of logs, and a few planks, but in the grand scheme of things, they are relatively cheap to build. Um, so whilst our sort of science goes flying up, um, and we have 3 spare beavers at the moment, just going to let them build all these things so that our beavers just become that bit happier and work that bit harder, because I think as they go up, they do unlock or live for longer. If I can select a beaver, also they don't run away as much. At the moment, they work 40% more efficient, move 5% faster, and live 20% longer. And so I don't know, there might be a way of being able to see what the next step up is, but for now, yeah, that's at level 10. So I'm sure as they go happier, they'll get even more things. So like wet fur, once they've got wet fur, that'll be an extra 1. So yeah, let's keep them as happy as possible, just so that they live for even longer. So our first shower is in, and a little baby has visited it and is getting himself clean. They're a very dirty colony at the moment, having only had 1 baby have a shower so far. The second shower is not quite built yet, but it's not far off. And then a few of the other things I'm sure will get built pretty quick once they sort of decide to start working on them, because they don't take very many materials compared to what we have. And the science, it's not quite bounced back up to where it was, but after only a day, it's already up to 70. So give it a few in-game days, and I'll be able to start getting more of my metal work on the go in no time. Hadn't quite realised our potato griller is doing such an efficient job that we're full on grilled potatoes and have no regular potatoes on the go. And our carrots have seemed to jump up, berries is still full, but that's because they're not prioritizing taking berries, and I do still have one berry picker picking. Um, but the rest of our jobs seem to be like as our workforce increases. We've now got a beaver not knowing what to do, so I'm going to also get them chopping down these trees for now, as we have started to get quite a few. Like these ones have even got the pine resin on them, which we're not quite working towards or on at the moment. And we've still got a pretty good amount of water in here, especially considering we're in a drought and we've introduced showers, and our beavers are even happier than ever. So yeah, things are looking pretty good. Our water situation, I think, has actually gone up since the start of the drought, which we've been pumping. So yeah, we're gonna like just keep going. I think maybe another sort of day, 2 days, and then we'll start being able to work on setting up our metalwork and maybe starting to plan out more of the quote unquote just industrial area for these beavers. The sun rises, our drought will be over. I have put in a second grilled potato storage because it's very close to being finished, and as this one has been full quite a bit, and our science with one away from being able to unlock our metalwork scrapping post, which is now possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to this area, and we're just going to put it in here and connect it via a path to our stairs if we can, which at the moment, because of very poor planning, I currently can't. Let's just go for a demolish of a single tree and make that a super high priority of destruction of said tree. This will be able to get all this scrap metal, and then, yeah, someone's coming to destroy one dead tree. And then we'll be able to get some metal going. We don't have anywhere to store it at the moment, and we don't have anywhere to process it. So what we are going to need to do is we're going to go for demolish all these trees. Absolutely everything in this area. And we're going to make this a super high priority to get rid of. So all our workers are going to destroy it. I don't think we'll get any logs from doing it this way. But at the moment, I'm not too worried about our sort of the amount of logs we have or do not have. Now, for ease of beavers getting here, we're going to have it nice path here, and then actually, do I want to go this side? Yes, we'll go this side, and then we'll probably have like the starting point of all our industrial stuff along there, which we are going to do a combination of everything. So we'll do two plankers for every one gear place. Like we also are going to want to eventually have like printing paper. I think probably sooner than later for the paper. So that might be one of my next big upgrades after getting the smelter, which doesn't actually need any wood products, but at the moment for this, we aren't going to be able to power it unless we unlock the windmills and the sort of power shaft. So again, save up a bit of power, and then we're going to figure out the best way of filling this area here in as a grid so that we can have power, and then potentially having this area as more of the buildings or more wind turbines for pure power output. So yeah, once the builders have destroyed all these trees, which they're going through very quickly, they'll probably build all of these areas, and by that point, we'll have enough to unlock some wind turbines. So I think they can go effectively 3 apart, and then they just can't be too close to a building. I think it's a height thing. So I think let's just try and make a nice grid of them, and then we'll figure out the best way of connecting them so we don't have any beavers trapped inside the grid. So for now, I think that'll probably do to start with, and obviously we're going to just start off with, that doesn't quite fit in. We're going to go with a grid system, just sort of like connect all up like this for now, and then I think this side can just go connected like this, and this shouldn't be blocking any beavers in because there'll be a way around, especially if we just do a quick path like that, and then beavers can get into each of the little alcoves to be able to build all of this area nice and hopefully relatively efficiently, except for that last one. So what we'll do is we'll just not build that one just yet, and we'll prioritize. Let's just start with this row and then these buildings, and then the rest can get filled in as and when we have a combination of the planks, which this building will hopefully build for us. So yeah, let's get them going and let's get some stuff being built. We will also need a storage for our scrap metal, so we're just going to put our scrap metal pile a little ways out the way. Actually, we'll put it on this side, just so that we can sort of somewhat stockpile all of our lovely scrap metal. As we have the science, we're going to select to unlock our smelting machine, and I am realizing that I may have messed up because it is longer than the others. That's okay, because what we can do is we'll just mark these to be, well, not built instead of built, and then we'll have the space. But the reason why I suppose this is higher on my priority list of building is so that eventually we can get the zip lines going, because then we'll be able to have a zip line from, say, here to sort of around here, and then they can easily go and make the metal, and then another one that goes across to, I don't know, somewhere maybe around here or by the housing, just so all our beavers can zip around and get around the map a lot quicker, and then that will help with a lot of our sort of, I'm going to say, buildings going up quicker, and also we have a lot of spare beavers at the moment, so in this somewhat dead dry area of ground we're going to try and build another, not another, my first hauling post, just to get the beavers moving, flanks and everything maybe a bit quicker. So I am actually going to super high prioritize building that. So at the moment we have 77 planks, and yes, a lot need to come over here for the buildings, and it'll just make it so that hopefully we can get a few things up and running a little bit quicker, and then once we can make planks here, hopefully they'll just transfer them across for all these buildings. But we're nearly there. We only need 4 more logs to get our wind turbine going, and then 1 log to get it connected, and then hopefully we will be able to sort of pause these 2 and maybe even destroy these buildings, just so that save on, I suppose, 2 jobs and some work. I am half realizing that where I built this isn't ideal, because at some point I'm going to want to divert the river into here and just have it as a lake, expanding this green area. So it may have to all get torn down at some point in the future, but for now, it's not too far from everything, so I'm not overly worried about it for the space it's taking up. And our connection is in, and our wind turbine is going. Unfortunately, it seems to be a very unwindy day today, which does not help us make anything. Hopefully the wind will pick up, because if it doesn't, then this entire area may have to be moved to somewhere else where there is more wind. There we go, the wind turbine does pick up a bit, 114, we only need sort of, 50 to get this flanker going, so I'll be able, with one wind turbine, I'll be able to have 2 flankers going, and then a tiny bit going into the gears. But for now, let's just get the planks on the go. So my hauling post is in. Got 6 beavers, which was all my unemployed beavers at the time, going. The wind is still blowing just enough to make planks, so now have planks going. Gonna prioritize this building by haulers, as well as this one and these 2 once they get built. I'm also going to prioritize the scrap flag by haulers, as we now have a scrap pile on the go, just so that this whole area, the workers aren't going back and forth too much. I feel like everything else I've got in a relatively sort of neat, tidy, close to the buildings they need for storage. But obviously my planks are all the way over here, so every single one this guy makes would then have to go all the way to the storage, which is probably not the wisest thing. So eventually I will move plank storage and probably some wood storage into this area, once I've got a bit more wood storage and wood building on the go, which I think I might try and start getting going soon. But my builders currently are still just taking out all of these trees in this area. So for now, I'm just going to let them keep going and then build the rest of this area that is on the high priority. As our scientists have kept being busy, I now have enough science to unlock the Ludo, or as I feel like it is more of just the swimming pool. Originally I had planned on putting it here, but because I put the showers there, it's not ideal, so what I am actually going to do is probably destroy the showers, and move them a little bit, because I think I'd rather have the swimming pool in this area and then put the showers just next to it in this little area. So where are they? Helps if I don't build a path on where I want to sort of put the things. And now get the showers back in here, and then we can path around and just make sure everything is nicely connected up. And then hopefully that will result in a bit more sort of fun for the beavers also going in. Is there a path? There is a path underneath those logs, just couldn't see it. I feel like our work area is under construction pretty well, like the gear workshop is now in, so they're going to probably start working on the smelter soon. And I've also tried to up the priority of this second wind turbine, just as occasionally this one at the moment, it's currently producing 67 horsepower, whereas these buildings take a bit more, so they're running not at 100% efficiency. But at the moment, I'm not overly fussed. I'm probably going to pause them once I have my actual smelter in, just so that, because that is the thing I'm going to want to prioritize and get going the quickest and the best. Because at the moment I have over 100 planks, so these two doing things isn't super crucial. I just need the planks to be turned into gears so that I can build the smelter more so than anything else at the moment. Which means I may actually just pause this one and get this one going just so that these planks can get turned into gears. And once I've got over 20, I'll probably pause it again because this just needs, again, planks and logs, planks and logs. So, yeah, this area is going to get turned, I think, into more of a sort of a farm area for me. So at some point, I'm going to have the beavers workers tear up all these berry bushes, but for now, I just need them to build this whole industrial area beforehand. We have a drought coming in by the next morning. It will be our second drought of the video. Just upped the priority of the swimming pool and the showers because they weren't getting built whilst I was prioritising these. We had been waiting for gears, but whilst I was looking away and distracted by other things, we have got our smelter in and going. So he's now going to start making us some metal planks, which means we can probably, with one more science, we're always just so close, start building zipline stations, which I think I'm going to do for one from sort of this area to over here. Drought has started. But there are other things that are probably going to be useful whilst, maybe not now that we're in a drought, but before our next sort of drought or potential bad tide, is the sluices, which means you can control like contamination and water levels. So I think to start off with, I am going to prioritize the zip lines because I think zip lines are fun and they are probably going to be more fun than a sort of, they have a range. How close can I get them to each other? So if I have it on this side, I can. If I have it over here, they can't quite reach. It's so close. We will put the zip line in here, and I think we can just sort of be on the select, add a connection into there. What was the distance on that connection? Let's see if I can see that. I can't quite see that unless I delete it. Let's have a look. So add connection to here. That is pretty much bang on the limit of 30 meters. The height is the same, so that is pretty happy with. And then I am also going to build a second one to kind of want it over here, just because I think that would be a scenic place. But then it is more walking. Would it fit over here? That's going to be more than 30 meters. I assume over here is going to be too far, but there are the relays which do cost, but at the moment I can't quite afford the science for them. So I think I might try go for one up here opposite some of our housing, unless we put it down here and then just some beavers have to walk. I think maybe we'll go lower. We'll just clear out a whole load of those berries and make them super high priority to get gone. And then we can put another zipline station in there, and then we can just sort of transfer, get people to work and to where they need to go a bit quicker. It does kind of mean that this scrap metal pile is just in a bit of a nothing zone, but I think that is okay for now. I cleared those berry bushes so quick. That was very, very nice. And I have given myself the hiccups, but that is okay. Let's add a connection. It is nice and close, bit of an angle, but that's not too steep. So yeah, hopefully we can get these zipline stations in. I think I'm going to prioritize this one and this one first. I think they, other than making more wind turbines and so we have more power in this area, are my current higher priority activities and tasks for my beavers. But yeah, we're gonna make it through this drought. I think no problem. We have plenty of food, we have plenty of water, not quite full. Our pool is in and people are swimming. We have showers. People have used it mainly in the evenings. So yeah, I think like zipline station here will mean it's quicker for food from the house, and we might even build one zipline station from here down to sort of this area where quite a few people do work and have to go past. And in there it will fit. So let's just add another one there to there, bang on the limit for distance again. And I feel like that'll just mean if someone needs to get a log over here, they could just jump on a zip line and zigzag their way through. So as these get built, we'll have zip lines. I think that'll probably end up having to be things that happen in the next video. I don't think I'll be able to finish all of them today, just because I think the metal blocks are going to take a bit longer to make than before I can actually have a full-on 2 or even 4 zipline stations all built. Yeah, for now, I think we're making it through the drought. We've saved up 500 science, so I am going to unlock the sluices now whilst I remember about them, and maybe even start a little plan for where I want them in here. Because if we get a bad tide, we're going to probably want to destroy the dam and have the sluices as our main sort of source of water, or water, like, yeah, water control. So close below contamination. This is where I'm going to have to figure it all out. So, close above contamination of 0.5. It close below contamination. So water will hopefully only flow through them if the contamination is 2% or higher. Also, if it's just the bad water, it will go through. I think may have to look into it and test it when we get a bad tide. For now, that is effectively the drought ended. Water level here has dropped considerably. Water cannot really work. Water pumpers are sort of right on the end, but that is the end of the drought, so the water is going to come and flow back in, and everything will keep chugging along. But I think I'm going to end here, so I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you later.